Jake, great to have you in the studio here on The Money. Tell us about your brand.
So the brand No One Sure Anything really has such a deeper meaning. I want people to create their own perception over what they see, over what they consume. And I want people to dig a bit deeper. I don't want people to just read stuff on a surface level and accept it for what that is. You know, let's look at something like, take the metaverse, what Mark Zuckerberg's creating. Why is there a need for us to go back to a digital age or a digital setting from our home and consume everything behind a screen again? To me, I don't understand it. Is it power? Is it data? Is it money? To me, it's crazy. So for me, the brand is about finding a different perspective, making your own perspective and making your own decisions.
You know, we just had a conversation at the top of the show about the high street, and we had two very savvy people on the panel. Indeed, we had Mike from the Federation of Small Businesses, and we were discussing, you know, what's going to happen to the UK high street. And one of our panelists was saying that, but consumers want to consume online. And we were saying, yeah, but they want to go to the high street as well. Something seems to be changing here. The pandemic, the cost of living crisis, it seems to be hollowing out the high street. On the other hand, though, people seem to be reverting to type, with fast fashion now suffering. You know, you are of that generation that's grown up with fast fashion, that's part of fast fashion, just like my kids.
Okay.
Tell us your feelings and what you think your generation's feelings are about fast fashion, because to some of us oldies, it seems pretty indulgent.
So I've never been one for fast fashion. I've never.
But your age group is, right?
My age group is, for sure. And I think because of the things like an online platform, it's so easy, so accessible to click a button, it comes to my door next day and I don't have to leave.
And they watch this stuff on Love Island, right? And everyone on Love Island, they're talking about fast fashion. Yeah. I bought this T-shirt, I wore it once, chucked it away.
Exactly, and I bought it and
it's very glamorous.
You know what? It's glamorous for a certain extent. It's glamorous to take a picture and put it on your Instagram. What it's not glamorous for is the environmental cost. It's not glamorous for sustainability, and, you know, we're doing more damage by buying it.
And during a cost of living crisis, it looks pretty indulgent.
During the cost of living crisis, yeah, I mean, it can be indulgent. You know, I feel obviously at the moment with the cost of living crisis, there's a lot more priorities that people have. But I think that if we went back to, say, a government level, I'm not talking about funding here in terms of like money that the government are going to give to people. I'm talking about the government educating people, the government taking a step back at maybe what they could be reassessing. And again, this is maybe like a perception or something that I have, which is where the brand name comes from. I watch football, and every time there's an advert on football, there's gambling. Gambling's not helping anyone.
Yeah.
So by people being able to sit at their phone, tap a button, put £100 on a roulette number, or put £100 on a football bet, that's not helping. So if we took that away from people and made it a bit more restrictive, made it a bit more difficult to access, would people then not be as stuck in a crisis as bills come up, as bills become more and more expensive? Would people have a bit more in their savings, a bit more in their pocket to be like, okay, you know what, cost of living's going up, but I'm fine, I can manage because I've been taught that maybe gambling isn't the right thing to do the whole time, or something like that.
So a lot of people listening and watching will agree with a lot of what you've said. They'll think fast fashion's a bit indulgent. They'll agree with your view on gambling. Just fill us in a little bit more. How is the brand that you're trying to develop, how will it make money? How are you going to turn this into a business? How are you going to be able to carry on saying what you want to say by building, you know, something that makes money, that allows you to live, allows you to employ people?
For me, sustainability is a chain. And it starts with nature, and then it goes to materials, and it goes to human beings. Now, if we're not looking after humans, everything else fails. Because if we don't improve local environments and we don't improve how people are living and we don't make sure that people are paid more than a fair and living wage, nothing improves. So for me, creating, you know, success, a lot of people view success as money. How much money did you make? What's your turnover? What's your profit margins? That's not my be-all and end-all goal.
But you've got to make a living,
Of course, you've got to make a living. And obviously, you know, to set up a business, obviously, it is about profit. But at the same time, I want to create a space. I want to create if I
But
ever
what are
had...
you going to sell? Are you going to create some intellectual property? You're going to create a brand?
Yeah, I mean...
And bestow your brand on certain goods, certain ways of doing things?
Yeah,
Is that the idea?
Yeah, so I mean, I have a collection of T-shirts, I have a collection of hoodies, I have a collection of socks, baseball caps, denim jackets. But I want the brand to become more of a community-focused thing, whereby if I have ever got to a stage where I had a brick-and-mortar shop, people can come in, people can access books, people can access a workshop, people can come and share ideas, and everyone's bouncing off each other. And to me, that feels more like what a business is now. A business is meant to be more of a community. A business is meant to be a space where people can come and feel comfortable. People can come and see what you're doing. People can buy into more of the vision than the actual product itself. And for me, that's really important.
Now, in what I do, I've met many, many entrepreneurs over many years, from world famous business titans all the way through to people, their whole life's work has been one shop on a small high street. And what many, many entrepreneurs have in common, Jake, is that they're not conventionally successful in their early life. They might not do so well at school. They might be a little bit ostracized. They might be loners in some way.
Yeah.
To what extent do you think your life so far marks you out as an entrepreneur?
At school, I would be selling literally anything and anything to make some money. And I remember I got thrown out of school at 16. I got one GCSE, and I basically got told, look, you're not going to uni, you're not going to college, go and do something. So I was like, OK, fine, fair enough. I ended up running like a guest list at a nightclub whereby people would pay to come in, and I would take a cut of the door money.
It needs a lot of savvy to do that. You need to learn how to handle people, right?
So, yeah, and especially when they've had a drink.
Fight. You have to diffuse a fight.
And they've had a drink.
And you're not a huge guy.
I'm not the biggest of all people. I'm not the biggest of all people. So for me, there's always been something there. I've wanted to create something and prove to people that doubted me, like, oh, OK, Jake has gone and created something. And I hear those words the whole time in my head.
And they motivate you?
100%. It's just fuel to my fire. It's literally just chucking it on there. And it really does motivate me.